March Madness just starting, but hey, it's also government shutdown season. And what used to be rare and unusual has become an annual event in Washington. I love this time of year. It's shutdown season. And that's where we start tonight. I'm kidding. I don't really care about a government shutdown anymore. And I don't care because they don't really matter. They used to be rare, and I feel like now we deal with a shutdown every single year. And normally, I would never open a show talking about a government shutdown. But this year, with Donald Trump in the White House and Elon Musk running the new Department of Government Efficiency, it's totally different because Democrats cannot win. The Democratic Party, who just last year during government shutdown season 2024, told us over and over again that they were good people, that they were moral people who just don't believe in shutdowns.
We believe in governance. We want to keep government open. A shutdown is very serious.
There are real consequences when the government shuts down. It harms our national security, it harms our economy, and it harms service members.
It is not normal to shut down the government when we don't get what we want.
My, how quickly all of that has changed. Because if the government does shut down, Democrats will be to blame. That's not a hot take, that's a fact. Republicans need at least 8 Senate Democrats to reach the 60 required votes, or the government's going to shut down at midnight tomorrow night. And right now they've got one Democratic vote, John Fetterman, the lone voice of reason in a Democratic Party gone mad. And for the first time in shutdown season history, Democrats right now only have bad options.
We also had a big win on Capitol Hill last night. As I talked to you all in the briefing yesterday, the president strongly supported the continuing resolution. He continues to support the continuing resolution. Now the ball is in Senate Democrats' court. Do they want to shut down the government, or do they want to keep it open and funded for the American people who need this government to continue moving, to continue building on the momentum President Trump has created?
Okay, option number 1. Democrats can vote against the bill tomorrow night and the government will shut down at midnight. Republicans will then blame the shutdown on Democrats because Democrats voted to shut down the government, and that's how that works. But a CBS YouGov poll this week has the approval ratings of Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries at 30% or lower, the lowest we've ever seen for Democratic leadership at the same time since polling started. That's how bad it is. And if Democrats shut down the government, which way do you think those numbers are going to go? They're going to go down. The other part of shutting down the government is even worse for Democrats because you'll be hanging federal employees like this that I'm about to show you, the same employees that the Democrats have told us are absolutely essential, out to dry. Take a look.
When you wake up or when you're on your weekend and you get the fork in the road message, or you get the subsequent 5 bullets, hey, what the hell did you do, you lazy federal worker, this week? How frightening is it that someone on X, the owner of X, speaks to you directly to say, what did you do last week at work? And if you don't answer, I am going to fire you. But even more egregious, the president comes out, the most powerful person in the land, and endorses that message. How do you think that makes federal workers feel?
If the government shuts down, Donald Trump and the OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, and DOGE, that pesky Department of Government Efficiency, will get to decide which government employees are really essential. But what happens if the government shuts down for days or even weeks? The government shut down for 35 days during Donald Trump's first term, and nothing really changed for most Americans. So how are Democrats going to justify fighting against DOGE cuts if the government literally shuts down for a month and nothing really changes? If that happens, how does Little Lizzie, the famous Massachusetts Indian, justify this?
This is a code red, shout it from the rooftops moment. Trump is letting Elon Musk steal our children's futures. Trump is sending a message loud and clear. He doesn't care about you, and he doesn't care about your family. This is just another part of Elon Musk and Donald Trump's playbook to dismantle public education in America. We have to stop them.
Option number 2, if you're a Democrat, is even worse. Option 2, if 8 Democrats do cross the aisle and vote with Republicans, it's simple. Donald Trump wins. And we all know that Democrats just can't have that. Don't you just love shutdown season? Here we are. Make sure you fill out your bracket. I think Democrats are going to lose. And by the way, do you know why the government shut down for 35 days during Donald Trump's first term? You remember the reason? It was over border wall funding. Democrats refused to fund the border wall, and now, 4 years later, we all know why.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
So Democrats right now are left with two really bad options. A Democratic Party that is just more lost and leaderless by the day. We've never seen a Democratic Party like this before, certainly not in the last 100 years. We just learned that taxpayers were happily funding programs like this, $620,000 for an LGBTQ plus IA inclusive teen pregnancy program for teenage boys. Now, I am not a doctor, but I do know that unless something drastic has changed over the last day, the population of the Earth is just over 8 billion people, and I'm pretty sure that every single one of those people has a mother. Every person on Earth has a mom and a dad and came from a mom's tummy. I know that. And how about $699,000 to study marijuana use among sexual, minority, gender diverse individuals? Or $740,000 to study social networks among Black and Latino sexual minorities in New Jersey? Or what about $50,000 to study the sexual health of LGBTQ Latinx youth? I have no idea where they find the people for these studies. But if Democrats vote to shut down the government, programs like that will be shut down as well. And that is the Democratic Party of today, a party so lost and so confused that they can't even get through a routine hearing on Capitol Hill anymore.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply...
You will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
Well, that takes care of that. And what you just saw is the personification of confusing. During a hearing on Capitol Hill, Tim McBride, a congressman from Delaware who now goes by Sarah, was recognized by a Republican as Mr. McBride because words matter, and indulging that behavior has just got to stop. It is also now the policy of the U.S. government to recognize only two genders, male and female. It's also worth noting, nobody else decides to do this, but it's worth noting that when Sarah McBride was sworn in as student body president back in college, not that long ago, like a little more than 10 years ago, she went by Tim. Take a look.
I state your name, do solemnly swear.
I, Tim McBride, do solemnly swear.
That I will diligently and faithfully.
That I will diligently and faithfully.
Execute the duties and responsibilities.
Execute the duties and responsibilities of American University.
And this is what the Democratic Party is and has been focused on instead of you, the American people. And the problem is on both coasts. It's not just in Washington. In Washington, we've got men dressing as women on Capitol Hill. In California, we've got Gavin Newsom, who thought it was a good idea to have Californians pay for a bust of him, a bust of Gavin Newsom, a statue of himself dedicated in San Francisco where he used to be mayor, which is really strange because Gavin Newsom is still very much alive. You don't see statues of Joe Biden or Donald Trump, do you? No, because Donald Trump and Joe Biden are still alive. Statues to honor someone are typically erected once someone passes away. We checked this out. The only people who built memorials to themselves while they were still alive, this is not a great list, but a lot of dictators. Hitler did this, Stalin did this, so did Egyptian pharaohs, so did Julius Caesar and Napoleon. And I mention all of this because on the eve of government shutdown 2025, these are the people leading the Democrat Party. These are the people who hope to lead the party in the future, and they are also the same reason that the Democratic Party is failing.